What's up everyone, I'm Alucard, and today we're going to be doing sort of an introductory guide to using Pathfinder's Grapple. Over time, I've had a lot of people in both my chat and others asking questions about how exactly to use Path's Grapple, and so I wanted to try and offer some basic tips and advice to help get you started slinging yourself around the Outlands. This is my first ever guide type video, so go easy on me, and if you enjoy it or it's helpful in any way, please feel free to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Now, let's be real, I'm no pro level player, and there's probably some crazy awesome Pathfinder out there that can show you even more cool stuff, but our goal here today is to learn the basics, and at least get you off the ground. I've been playing Apex Legends since the day it dropped, and have been maining Pathfinder since Season 2, so we've been together for a while. Alright, let's get started. Now, one of the very first things we're going to talk about is Pathfinder's cursor. It is very different from any other cursor in the game. If you see, there's nothing in the center, or there may be a dot. But if you go to Pathfinder, you have this little partial circle thing going on here. As you can see, I don't have any sort of colorblind mode on or anything. I just use the standard colors. But as you can see, it's yellow, but it also turns blue. Now, the reason it turns blue is because it is letting you know that you are within grappling distance. So I cannot grapple anything when it is yellow. It's too far away. Obviously, it does not reach that far. If it is blue, it now reaches. Handy dandy. So something you want to get used to is learning just how far your grapple will reach. You see it changes colors right there. And what's crazy is sometimes, even when it's not blue, it'll reach. See how it wasn't blue there? But I was also running forward, so I got close enough. So something you want to get used to and really teach your mind and your muscle memory to know and learn is just how close you have to be to something to be able to grapple. Because I can be on my way, I can be running away from an enemy, I can be running towards an enemy, all kinds of stuff. And I want to, as quick as possible, without even knowing, without even seeing the blue indicator, I want to immediately know, just in my mind, that I'm close enough to grapple. And you can sometimes grapple before you even reach the item, before it turns blue, just because you know. So I can be running along, and just because I know just how close I have to be in my mind, I can grapple even faster and more effectively. Now, one of the most basic Pathfinder grapples is the one on the ground, a ground grapple. So you want to be able to sling yourself forward as far as you can. Now, if I see my cursor turn blue, that means I know I can grapple, right? So if I hit my grapple, well, I really didn't go that far. It kind of just drug me along the ground like a dog that doesn't want to go for a walk. That wasn't a very good grapple. But we can go all the way over there. We can sling ourselves up in the air. The trick is hitting the jump button. But you can't just do it any time. You have to know exactly when to hit the jump button. If I hit the jump button too early, they have a very similar effect. I hit the jump button way too early. I jumped, and then the grapple hit the ground. The trick that you need to know and you need to learn and practice here in the firing range is hitting the jump button the moment the grapple makes connection with the ground. So it's something you got to get used to. This is going to be helpful in pretty much all of your grappling techniques, but especially here in the ground one. So I'm going to grapple and then jump, and see how much further I slung myself, and then I can even slide into the rest of it too. So that makes for a much better grapple in that way. So let's watch again. I'm going to hit jump the moment it hits. So you have to kind of get used to like how fast your grapple goes out, because the moment it hits the ground, you got to hit that jump button. Watch. Jump. I hit it right when it connects. That's how you're going to get the most distance. Now, there's also more ways to add even more distance to a basic ground grapple. So we didn't do any direction. We didn't create any momentum or anything like that. But you could do a straight ground grapple and even add a little bit more. The way you're going to do this is start adding angles. So I'm going to grapple, jump when it connects, and I'm going to angle myself a little bit this way. I'm going to do it really quick. I'm going to angle myself and then bring myself back around. You're literally creating momentum using the game physics, so watch this. I can sling myself just like that. So watch one more time. I'm going to grapple, jump, and I'm going to angle myself and sling around. So watch this. Jump, and you can sling yourself in a direction. So that's just one more thing you can do to add a little bit of, a little more than just a straight grapple on that. So that's the basic ground jump. That is a very key component, something to practice here in the firing range for sure. You can get a lot of experience in that. That's going to be your bread and butter for grappling. But now we're going to talk about angles. Now, one of the incredible things about this game is just the physics and the momentum you can create. The way this game has some of the most incredible movement in any game out there right now, and it has for the past 2 years. And that's what makes Pathfinder one of the most incredibly fun characters to play, is because it's just the way you can fully take advantage of this game's abilities. So one thing you want to know for using angles, and when I say angles, I mean if I can grapple to this tower, right, and I can do the old, just like we just did, we just practiced the jump, right, and I go pretty high because I used the jump, right. I can get up here. That's cool. We don't really care about that. We don't want to do that right now. But I can use this pole, and the moment that my grapple connects, I'm going to still hit the jump button to get myself off the ground, because if I don't hit the jump button, it just pulls me to it. That's it. That's all we do. But we can do so much more than that. We're going to grapple, jump, just like before, and we're going to angle ourselves and start slinging ourselves around. And we're going to try to get ourselves all the way over there-ish. We're going to see what happens. So watch this. We're going to grapple, and I turn, and I pull into it. So I didn't do that right, because see, if you turn too far, or you break the angle, you're going to break the zip line. You're going to break the grapple, which is what happened there. So I didn't go where I wanted. So we're going to try again real quick. Got a few seconds. But you see what I did there. The moment it attached, I jumped and I turned this way. Now if you turn too far, like this, watch. It's going to do some weird stuff like that. It's very bizarre. Sometimes it'll just break off immediately. But we're going to turn a little bit and start slinging ourselves around. Let's see what happens. Just like that. And see, now we can get all the way over here from over there. It's pretty cool. And these are just some very basic ones. You can do some really, really, really big grapples depending on the angles you have, which I will show you some really cool ones in just a minute. That's another thing to remember, is it's not just about angles, but like what we just did, it's about direction. You can direct, you can control your direction. You can control which way you want to go with the movement of your mouse, and you can literally slingshot yourself across the map. Let me show you an example on Kings Canyon and Airbase. It's one of the absolutely coolest places to grapple. There's tons of them everywhere on every map, World's Edge, Olympus, any of them, but this one just is always a really fun one to do. Take a look. Now, an important thing to keep in mind is his cooldown on his grapple. Pathfinder's cooldown has gone through a lot of changes over the time. At first, it was just a 15-second cooldown. It was a standard 15 seconds. If you have the gold helmet, which you can see I have on already, it's even shorter. But the devs thought that was far too quick, and that he was overpowered, and that his movement ability was just way too good. So they made it a 35-second cooldown. This was a dark, dark time for us Pathfinder mains. This was miserable. I honestly, for a couple weeks, ended up playing other characters like Bloodhound because it essentially killed the character. It took away the very epitome of what makes Pathfinder special, and that's being able to quickly sling yourself around the map. 35 seconds is a very long time when you're in a intense fight that you need to get out of. If you push into a fight, you're shooting, oh god, I'm getting my butt kicked, I need to get out, I'm dead. Because you have this crazy long cooldown and you can't use your thing to get back out or whip away or reposition. I know that wasn't 15 seconds obviously, but you get the point. It changed things. 20 seconds is an incredibly long time, that increase. But Pathfinder's in a pretty good place now. It's not a 15-second cooldown per se. It's based on your grapple. So if you see, I'm going to do a really short grapple and watch what the cooldown does. 8 seconds. That's a very short cooldown. So if I do a really quick repositioning, 8 seconds is fantastic. I already have my grapple back. Watch this. I'm just taking high ground. Boom. I took high ground and now I have a 9-second cooldown. That's huge. You can already use it again in 3 seconds. That's incredible. But if you're going to do some big crazy repositioning like this, watch how long the cooldown is. We're in the air for a long time. 23 seconds. So in a sense you're punished per se for doing a long big grapple. But I find that to at least be a fair place. That's better than the 35-second standard, and that way, if you are a skilled Pathfinder main or a skilled Pathfinder user, you can use this to your advantage like I just did. If you just need to get out of a fight really quick and just take high ground, boom. Short cooldown, and now I have the high ground. Just like that. But if you just need to do a big, super awesome getaway, you sling yourself out of there. Whee! Just like that. I've removed myself from a situation, but I have a 17-second cooldown. So it just depends on what you want to do. But you need to be mindful of that because it can get you killed. If you do a really big grapple and you land right back into a fight, you're screwed. One other small thing to know that you can do with Pathfinder's grapple is you can grapple your enemy. This is not a very common technique. I've seen some really cool plays done with it. I've done some really cool plays with it. But it's just something to keep in mind. If you're trying to catch up to somebody and they're running away, yeah, grapple them. Pop. And punch them. Oh, I killed him. Okay. Now, there's some other crazy things you can do with Pathfinder's grapple. I'm not incredibly talented at some of them, but you can do some really weird things like slinging yourself around the air. Not endlessly, but for a long time. Kind of like this. It just depends on your angle. See how it's still connected for a long time? It's all about keeping the angle. If you break the angle or let the grapple go back to Pathfinder's body, it's going to break. It's going to end. But if you can somehow keep this crazy angle going on whatever object you've grappled, you can kind of just keep slinging around. So if you're in a really tricky situation, you're just trying to zip around and stay alive, it can be a handy tool. See how long we were in the air there and just kind of moving around? You can do it for even longer. It's kind of crazy. I'm not that good at it, but it's just something to keep in mind, something to practice. There's all kinds of crazy skills that you can do with Pathfinder's grapple. Another special technique that you can use for quick getaways or just strategic moves is you can grapple a zipline. It's a quick way to get out of a situation. You can just get right on the zip line and now I'm gone really fast. Or I have high ground. You can use this to your advantage in situations like jumping off of a place. Oops, I missed my zip line. Well, I still grabbed it and now I can catch back up to the team. If you're not Pathfinder, you fall, you die. You can also use this jumping technique to grapple to all kinds of things. It does not have to be a zip line. I can run and jump and grab off this bone fragment right here. If I want to remove myself from a situation, get out of a fight, or just make a really cool grapple. I can run, slide jump, wait for the optimal time. And you can create a lot of momentum. You see how I slung myself around and to go in the direction I wanted to? You can even use this to your advantage sometimes in crazy fights and crazy situations. Even if you're on Olympus and I'm about to jump off the map, it looks like, to the enemy, I can run and jump. And normally I would fall, but if I'm Pathfinder, I can just sling myself far away. Look how far away I am from these people already. Now let's take a look at a few situations in game where we've done these exact things that we've talked about, and put them using to our advantage. Whether it's slinging myself far away, jumping off the map in certain locations, but still staying alive, whereas other characters couldn't. Slingshots, ground grapples, just to travel far, all kinds of situations. Let's take a look. It's very helpful to use the slingshot method when you can use objects that are high up. It'll only let us grapple so far, but if we want to put ourselves at a certain angle, let it turn blue, quickly turn out, and sling ourselves just like that. We made it pretty far from all the way over there in just one movement. That gives us like a 30-second cooldown, which is the negative side, but we've also gone pretty far. Now, this is one of the spots on the map that is very similar to what I was talking about. If you look over the edge, there's death, there's nothingness. We would fall if we jumped off, right? If you're any other character, that's what would happen. But if I'm in a big, crazy, mean fight, and I need to run away because there's 3 people and just one of me, I can take the zip, but I'm very likely to get beamed because you're going in a straight line. But that's where Pathfinder's grapple comes in handy. I'm gonna look like I'm crazy and I'm jumping off. Oh my gosh, But at the last second, I've grappled to the wall and slung myself using my angles, turning and slinging, and I've thrown myself over here. It's not that crazy different, but it's gonna throw them off. They're thinking I jumped off the map, or they're going to look on the zip line. They're not going to be able to just shoot me in a straight line, and I can quickly get over here and get away and remove myself from a bad situation. Here's another situation where we can use jumping off the map, quote unquote, to our advantage. If I'm getting chased from behind and I want to get up there, climbing up here like this, blah, 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 I'm probably going to get lasered, beamed in the back, and killed. But if I want to try something really tricky, I can run, jump, grapple, sling myself up here just like that. And if I did it even better, I would probably sling myself almost through this doorway too. So it's really good for quick getaways, quick movements, quick repositioning. You can take high ground in a very quick manner. You'd be amazed at just how far this thing reaches. Just like that. If there's a team down there with no mobile legends such as Octane or Horizon or Pathfinder, I've easily just gotten away and lost them. There's no way for them to catch up to me. It's very, very handy. And don't forget, you can grapple to anything like lampposts, trees, anything all over the map you can mostly grapple to. So we're going to use this lamppost right here. Sling ourselves all the way to the jump tower for a quick getaway. Alright guys, that pretty much covers most of the basics that I wanted to go over with you today. I really hope this video can end up being helpful to many people looking to try out Pathfinder. He's easily one of the most fun characters in the game, so I hope you can learn to enjoy him just as much as I do. And remember, if you enjoyed the video and it was helpful in any way, please drop me a like, subscribe, and a comment below. And if you ever feel like coming to the stream while I'm live to say hi, you can find me on Twitch at alucard_x99. The link will be in the description. Take care, everybody. Let's go! Broke him. I stuck him. Leaving. Oh god.
Don't get lasered. Fall back if you have to. One's down here.
Oh! Clip that out of the game. Why would you die? Boom! Let's go!
You son of a bitch. That's so cool.